Very importantly, my administration is also standing up for the free speech rights of all Americans. You look at Google, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media giants, and I've made it clear that we as a country cannot tolerate political censorship, blacklisting, and rigged search results.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. We're on weekdays, 11:45 Eastern. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. This piece is from the Daily Caller. It caught my eye because it's about Google, but it might as well be about any organisation in social media, maybe even mainstream media. The links, as always, will be on my site. Google does manipulate its search results manually, contrary to the company's official denials. Documents obtained exclusively by the Daily Caller indicate two official policies dubbed misrepresentation policy and good neighbour policy inform the company's XPA News blacklist, which is maintained by Google's Trust and Safety Team. TNS will be in charge of updating the blacklist as and when there is a demand. This is actually from the document. The Deception News domain blacklist is going to be used by many search features to filter problematic sites that violate the good neighbour and misrepresentation policies the policy document says. That document reads that it was, quote, approved by Gomes at NIVAC and higher. That's 3 hyperlinks, I'm assuming, to emails. Ben Gomes is Google's head of search, who reports directly to the CEO, Sundar Pichai. Pandu Navag is a Google Fellow, and Paul Ha is a software engineer whose bio on Google's internal network, Mama, indicates that he's also involved in fringe ranking, not showing fake news, hate speech, conspiracy theories, or science, media, history, denial, unless we're sure that's what the user wants. The purpose of the blacklist will be to bar sites from surfacing in any search feature or news product. It will not cause a demotion in the organic search results or de-index them altogether, reads the policy document obtained by the caller. What that means is that targeted sites will not be removed from the 10 blue links portion of search results, but the blacklist applies to most other search features like top news, videos, or various sidebars that are returned as search results. In a section of the memo entitled Eligibility for GNP, that's Good Neighbour Policy Enforcement, the types of search results impacted by the policy are described. Quote, if your product shows any of the following, misrep and GNP would apply to your PA. And there's 3 bullet points. First bullet point shows content from users and news publishers perceived 3P voice, XUGC, news corpus, etc. Outputs, single answers perceived to come from open web, X web answers, video answers, etc. Third bullet point shows content owned, licensed or edited by Google perceived to come directly from Google, X knowledge panels, news summaries, one boxes, Munin carousels, etc. This is just me for a minute. I don't know what all that is, but it's obviously code for blocking ordinary people from speaking and getting their voice out there. The piece continues. The 10 blue links may not be impacted by the blacklists, but virtually every other kind of Google search result is, while hard numbers are not available for now, for how much traffic is directed through the 10 links versus other search blocks. Since the latter appear so high on the results page, the impact could be significant. Quote, "Focus on the user," unquote, said the source at Google, who described the program to the caller, quote, "Users need to trust any content that Google shows them, whether it's the 10 blue links or other special results," unquote. Sundar Pichai testified before the House Judiciary Committee on December the 11th last year. Democratic California Representative Zoe Lofgren asked why a search for the term idiot returned a photo of President Trump. In response, Pichai said, "This is working at scale. We don't manually intervene on any particular search result," unquote. A memo about the deceptive news blacklist was also obtained by the caller, showing its last edit as of December 3, 2018, a week before Pichai's congressional testimony. This document, which describes the process by which the site can be blacklisted for deceptive news, clearly shows that there is a manual component. Quote, "The beginning of the workflow starts when a website is placed on a watch list, which is used for monitoring of sites to determine if they violate the good neighbor policy. This watch list is maintained and stored by EHRs, with access restricted to policy enforcement specialists working on good neighbor policy. Access to the listing can also be shared at the discretion of P-Counsel and legal investigations on a need-to-know basis to enforce or enrich the policy violations. The investigation of the watch list is done in the tool Athena, the EHRs manual review tool, and intake signals from search, WebSpan and EHRs in order to complete reviews." There's a piece missed out and it continues. "Once a domain is determined to be violating the misrepresentation policy or good neighbor policy, such patterns are then added to deceptive news blacklist domains .text by the Trust and Safety team. The document indicates that there is, among other things, a manual review tool involved in maintaining the blacklist. On the blacklist are a number of conservative sites, including, and here's the list, Gateway Pundit, Matt Walsh's blog, Gary's North blog, TeaPartyEconomist.com, Caroline Glick's website, Conservative Tribune, a property of the Western Journal, and the website of the American Spectator. Quote, "You can trust the human judgment of Google's Trust and Safety team," said the source at Google, with the knowledge of their practices. Requests for comment from Google's press team have gone unreturned as of publication date. And there's an update here. A Google spokesman provided the following statement to the Daily Caller after this story was published. "We do not manually determine the order in which any search result, nor do our algorithms or policies attempt to make any judgment on the political leanings of a website." Let me just read that little bit again, because there's more to this statement than that. A Google spokesman provided the following statement to the Daily Caller after this story was published. Quote, "We do not manually determine the order of any search result, nor do our algorithms or policies attempt to make any judgment on the political leanings of a website." I'll leave you to digest that comment. I'll continue on with that comment. "Our Google News inclusion policies are publicly available online. They provide guidelines on content behaviors for matters like sponsored content, deceptive practices, and more. sites that do not adhere to these policies are not eligible to appear on the news surfaces or information boxes in the search. These policies do not impact the way these sites appear in organic blue link Google search results, unquote. Well, got a contradiction in that statement, haven't we? As I say, this piece and the links will be on my site. Please read it. It'll probably make more sense when you read it. Now, this is my thought. I think it's way past time to even the playing field in what they call social media, what I call propaganda. Because let's be honest here, if you're only going to allow one point of view, the one that you agree with, how can you call yourself, in all honesty, something as innocuous as social media? Well, that's easy to answer, isn't it? Because if you think about it, you couldn't really call it what it is. How about something like, this is one-sided commentary or one-sided opinion? Because that would expose what they're really doing. No, it's way past time that the Microsofts and Apples of the social media are brought to heel. They attack the one and only news channel that tells an alternative view to their non-stop propaganda. And even that's falling down these days. It's not the news channel it used to be by any manner of means. You've really got to pick your way through that. It's sad, but it's true. So why shouldn't we have the same in the world of social media? What are they so afraid of that their views can only be the views that can be heard or seen? If they are so confident that their approach to democracy is the correct one, it should be able to stand up to public scrutiny, shouldn't it? No, I think they prefer the Berkeley view, that of free speech, yes, but only our free speech, not yours. Finally, I speak for myself, living in a country that claims it has free speech. This Canada Day, which you probably don't even know about in the States, which is July 1st, Canadians will be celebrating the idea of Canada, singing the national anthem. In it, there are these lines: God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I think this year, more than ever, Canadians may well be questioning those words when a government has passed laws which are both unconstitutional and clearly against our charter. Canadians are clearly not free when a government is planning to silence social media views that they don't like. Finally, I give you this little thought. Who the blank do Google think they are? What gives them the right? What gives them the right to decide what you will or will not see? Who the heck do they think they are? Goebbels? And if you don't know who Goebbels is, look him up. But don't use Google. And here's an idea. Why don't we all stop using Google? I try and stop using it when I can. It's very easy to slip back into the old ways. But try another search engine. Cut them out. I mean, they're attacking even this little place, A Radio, on YouTube. What difference does a little channel like me make? What are they scared of? Just one little chink in the armour will let the truth seep through. And isn't that the point? In my country, they're trying to shut down free speech, and they won't succeed. It's like holding a handful of sand in your hand and squeezing it. You'll never keep it in. Some of it will always seep out. The truth will always seep out. Doesn't matter how hard you try and keep it secret. We have a corrupt government in Canada. You have a corrupt government in the United States. It's just the nature of things itself. Money corrupts absolutely. And that's why you should be proud of a president who was self-funding. And that's why they hate him. And that's why this media, beyond all other medias, is spending every waking hour, minute, second to try and bring him down. Now they're doing the same in Canada. They're doing it in every other Western country. They don't want conservative views to be heard because they make sense. Why would you pass taxes that would destroy an economy? Well, I think Americans know the answer to that. That's why they have voted in President Donald Trump. Let's hope Canadians make the same decision and get rid of a corrupt, biased media and government. I hope the next government of Canada gets rid of the government-controlled media. Let's get back to free speech and freedom. How can that hurt anybody? I want to hear the views of people I don't agree with, not just the people I agree with. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, and email. We are also on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a twist, and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio. That's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. And you can now hear a weekend review of our podcasts on WHBJ DB, News Talk Radio. Join us and many others, and you can find all our podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com. Click on the Morning Moments tab.